Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, see the fifth question. Discuss the contribution of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad to pre and post independence. So, pre-independence and post-independence. So, discuss the contribution of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad to pre and post-independence. Take 5 minutes and give the framework. What is the framework? Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So basically, you need to give the introduction about Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Okay, and then write about his contributions in pre-independence and post-independence. So, you can say that Maulana Abul Kalam Azad was one of the learned personal and scholar who took active part in various phases of national movement and played crucial role in post-independence India. This can be your introduction. Okay, and then coming to the role in pre-independence. So, what is his role in pre-independence? We all know that he was youngest president of INC, and then he was also the longest president, especially during World War II. Okay, he was a critic of two-nation theory, one among the last to accept partition. True secular leader, published a magazine called Al Hilal, championed the Khilafat cause. Okay, inspired by Gandhi, active role in non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and Quit India movement. So this was the role in pre-independence. What was his, and pre-independence, he was part of the Constituent Assembly also. Part of Constituent Assembly. And then in post-independence, active member in framing the constitution, right? And then educational minister. He was the education minister in the post-independence India. Key role in setting up IITs. Okay, and then CSIR institutes along with Nehru. Believed in spreading education. Okay, and then he was awarded Bharat Ratna. This can be part of your conclusion. To honor him, Bharat Ratna was awarded to him, and he is undoubtedly one of the stalwarts in Indian history. Undoubtedly a stalwart in Indian history. This is how you write this answer. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Shanta Prasad, you are in the class?
Yes, sir.
Good. You can write about Al Hilal, INC presidency. Yeah, youngest president, correct. And you can also write as longest serving president.
Okay, sir.
Yes, good. Yes. Yes, secular ban. Good. This point is also good. His birthday is celebrated as Educational Day. Very good. Good answer.
Thank you, sir.
See the second question. Analyze the circumstances that led to Tashkent Agreement in 1966. Discuss the highlights of the agreement. Yeah. Give some highlights of the agreement. Give the framework and also give certain highlights of the agreement. Take a couple of minutes. Yeah, Jitendra, the framework is okay. Give the important points of the agreement.
So pre-conflict provision, non-interference in internal matters,
Yes. India
war
surrendering
prisoners
certain.
related thing.
India surrendering the occupied territories of Pakistan.
Next, to restore measures taken to restore economic, communication, and cultural relations.
Yes. So we know in what context this Tashkent Agreement was signed. In what context this agreement was signed is after the analyze the circumstances that led to the Tashkent Agreement in 1966. So first is the analyze part and then discuss the highlights of the agreement. So intro, reasons for agreement, then highlights, conclusion. This is the framework of the answer. So first part is the intro. So how do you say? You can say this 1966 agreement was part of the peace treaty post Indo-Pak war. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is the intro part. Then next is the reasons for this agreement. Reasons or analyze. Okay, here analyze means the reasons for the agreement. Okay. So what are the reasons for agreement? Basically, it was mainly on the pressure from UNSC, mediation by USSR. Okay. And because of these two main reasons, and there was a heavy pressure on India to go for ceasefire. Of these three reasons, the Tashkent Agreement was signed in 1966. So what are the highlights? The next part is the highlights. What are the highlights of this particular thing? As Jitendra said, the first highlight is pullback. Pullback means what? Pulling back the troops to their status quo. Status quo. This is the way, this is thing where presently India, China are still not agreeing. post Galwan. Okay, the pullback is not still in place, but at that time pullback was the agreement, and then going India had to surrender certain occupied territories. Certain occupied territories. Okay. And then war prisoners to be freed or repatriated. Repatriated. Okay. And mutual non-interference in internal matters. Okay. And then finally, to restore trade relationship. So these were the highlights. So what were the situation? Yeah, reasons. It can be also famine and food shortage. Yesterday we have seen, right? There was famine and food shortage in India at that point of time. So that was also one of the reasons for going for this particular agreement. But then it was to an extent criticized in India because India had an advantageous position in Indo-Pak War. India was in the advantageous position. So hence it was slightly criticized. So in conclusion, you can write India was in the advantageous position, but then there were multiple reasons through which India had to go and sign this particular agreement and accept the ceasefire. That is your conclusion. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jitendra, you have written?
No, sir. I wrote next two questions.
You have written next to two. Shanta is over. Arvind, yesterday we have done. Sriram, you have written? Sriram, you have, okay, I have done yours. Aguram? Good. Kashmir war. Yes. And then pressure from UNSC. And as Shanta Prasad said, India's internal food crisis. Yes, fallback question. Internal affairs, bilateral, yes. And some more points which we mentioned, you can write.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not negative outcomes. Don't write negative outcomes. Drawbacks. Okay, I always use the word drawbacks. Don't use negative outcome. This agreement is signed by the Prime
Okay,
Minister.
sir.
No assurances from Pakistan. Conclusion. Conclusion was that the context forced. Context was such. India had to. Clear?
Yes, sir.
See the 7th question. Critically examine the compulsions which prompted India to play a decisive role in emergence of Bangladesh. See this question. Take a couple of minutes and answer. Yeah. Critically examine the compulsions. So critically examine. So you have to write what are the compulsions, what are the positive aspects of those compulsions, and what are the positive impacts, what are the negative impacts. Negative impacts are what is the criticism, and then what is the decisive role in emergence of Bangladesh. So when was this India Bangladesh? India freed Bangladesh in 1971. Okay. So the role played by India during this particular war was mainly a compulsion to free Bangladesh from the clutches of Pakistan. Bangladesh was previously called East Pakistan. We all know that it was previously called East Pakistan. Okay, this East Pakistan was forcefully retained, and there was a lot of atrocities which were going on in East Pakistan. And to bring out of these atrocities, India had to intervene to free Bangladesh. Okay, and hence it is also called as Bangladesh Liberation War. It is also called as Bangladesh Liberation. Okay, so what are the compulsions? Compulsions which forced India to go about this. One is atrocities or human right violations in East Pakistan. Okay, and then attacks on minorities. So who are the minorities in East Pakistan? Obviously Hindus. So attacks on minorities. Okay, and then any kind of public criticism was suppressed, and people were jailed. So this irritated India. Okay, and then there was a political crisis. By army intervention in East Pakistan. Okay, and then all the outcome of all these factors was there were a lot of refugees pouring into northeastern porous borders of India. Okay, and then India was appealing to the UNSC and other international organizations, but no response from international forums. So hence, all these reasons were responsible for India getting involved into 1971, and then there was an Indo-Pak war. Okay, so what were the advantages India had, or what were the positives of the intervention? Positives of the intervention. Positives were that it was strategic move to secure Indian border, stopped refugee migration, okay, found a reliable neighbor in Bangladesh, okay, peace restored finally. What are the drawbacks? What are the drawbacks? Northwestern border not closed, not resolved. Okay. Northwestern border was not resolved. That is, the Pak India relations went south. Okay. Attracted international wrath temporarily. Okay. However, you can say in the conclusion, in the hindsight, India's involvement into the Eastern Pakistan issue was in a way a very strategic and much needed move to secure the own security interests of India. Clear? These are the
Yes.
important points. You have written this, Jitendra?
Yes, sir.
Refugee crisis, prevailing communal violence. Yes. Some more points you can add from our discussion. Jitendra?
Definitely, sir.
Good. This impact you can further divide it into positive and drawback,
Yes, sir. I'll make it.
or you can say criticism. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's a decent answer. See the last question of the day. How were the princely states integrated into Indian Union after partition? What role did Sardar Patel play in it? Take a couple of minutes and then give the framework. Right. So what Sardar Patel and his assistant VP Menon have done in the post-independence India is a great job. For example, this is a question. How were the princely states integrated into Indian Union after partition? How were the princely states united into Indian Union after partition? So the first part of the question is this: how? Then what was the role played by Sardar Patel? So intro, how, role of Sardar, then conclusion. This is the framework. Right? Clear? This is the framework. Framework is clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So first is the intro. You can say after the independence, India was left with a very arduous task of bringing all the princely states, close to 560 plus princely states, under Indian Union. This job was assigned by Nehru to Sardar Patel and his deputy VP Menon. They both have taken various means to achieve this. How it was integrated? Through various instruments like instrument of accession, standstill agreement, and some places voluntarily they became part of India. So you can say it was a carrot and stick policy by Sardar Patel. So then role of Sardar Patel. So you can say role of Sardar Patel. Role of Sardar Patel. He took carrot and stick policy and tried to bring many princely states under the banner of Indian Union. In that context, he has used various means, but here, role of Sardar Patel, you can mention certain states where there was an issue. Some of the states where there was an issue initially was Bhopal, Travancore, Junagadh, Hyderabad, and finally Kashmir. Any other state where there was an issue? You can write these 5 examples. Okay. In Bhopal, the Nawab of Bhopal wanted to be independent. But what happened? There was a plebiscite. And that was usually in favor of India. And hence it became part of India. Travancore had a lot of deposits of monazite. They wanted to export that and be independent. But due to the pressure of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, they had become part of India. Junagadh, border state, close to both Pak and India. It was connected through land to India and via sea to Pak. The ruler was Muslim ruler, wanted to be with Pakistan and as he thought he could be part of Pakistan through sea. But then there was a tremendous pressure from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel on this Nawab of Junagadh. He systematically planned one after the other the aides of Nawab of Junagadh. He has decrease the number of friends of Junagadh, force the plebiscite, and the plebiscite was in favor of Indian Union, and finally it became part of Indian Union. Hyderabad, we know the Nawab or Nizam of Hyderabad was reluctant to be part of either India or Pakistan, wanted to be part of Pakistan at some point, but he was trying to be part of both India. He was trying to be independent, and he in fact returned to many Arab countries for support. Finally, in September 1948, through police action, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel made Hyderabad part of the Indian Union. Finally, Kashmir, one of the sore issues of partition, where the Pakistani tribes have invaded into the Kashmir region of Jammu and Kashmir. They occupied certain part of the Kashmir and they did not leave. So India tried to highlight this issue at UNSC, and it became Indo-Pak issue at UNSC level. And thereafter, Kashmir became an international issue, and it could not be controlled by any of the nations single-handedly. So here you can mention Kashmir or you cannot mention Kashmir, because Kashmir is not a successful case study. But on the whole, you can mention these 3 or 4 this thing, and you can say it was a very long and arduous task by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and his deputy. Yeah, you can write Jodhpur also. And his deputy VP Menon. And both of them took a lot of time and effort to integrate India into the union as it is looking today. Who has written this answer? Sriram?
No, sir.
Not written. In 1947, Mountbatten Plan did not give any choice. They had to join. Okay. Either India or Pakistan. Good.
Okay, sir.
We are talking about cabinet mission plan where there was a option. In Mountbatten Plan, there was no option.
Okay, sir. Clear.
Junagadh, yes. Good. Good. Good answer, Shanta Prasad. But you are missing the conclusion. You can write the conclusion also, as we discussed. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other doubts from today's session? So the 4 questions are clear. In post-independence, it is mostly about writing the sequence of events. Okay, don't many of them feel it is slightly tougher and all. Don't think it is tougher, because in post-independence, it is about writing the facts in the order they have happened. Okay, there is not much to discuss or analyze in post-independence, luckily. So be it tribal integration, be it the Panchsheel policy, and then be it the 1965 war, 1971 war, Green Revolution, and then the latter half of the 20th century, the IT revolution and all, and especially the tribal integration, the tribal policy, immediate partition, the Hindi language, the official language issue, and then the linguistic reorganization of states. We have looked into one of the answers. So all these are 7 to 8 important topics which are coming frequently. So try to revise them, and then even if you get 1 question or 2 questions, it's a very low hanging fruit, because if you revise 7 to 8 topics, you are sure shortly getting 1 question, means it's a very good conversion ratio as far as UPSC is concerned. So try to maintain that, and you can just revise entire post-independence in a matter of 1 day. You must be all knowing it. So just revise it before the examination, and you have a proper framework of questions or for proper framework of answer, it will be taken care. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. We'll meet tomorrow. Good night.